حسبي الله ونعم الوكيل.
ذبح، حرق.
Tens of children and women were ordained with ISIS daggers.
بالإسراع إلى المشفى الوطني لاستقبال الجرحى.
حاليا إيرادات الناس كلها متجهة باتجاه الدفاع عن نفسها.
جيشنا عم يقدم أكبر جهاد في الكون.
Here in this location, hear the death coming from far away. Here in this location that was besieged, tens of victims and maybe hundreds who were killed after attacked by ISIS fighters. Here on the border of this city, its sons are resisting the death coming from the east and struggling at the border of the city of intellect. The call of duty is heard by its sons and the battle intensifies. ISIS that feared by the war that didn't touch it other than statements and some timid attempts. The city confronted with actions. Here we're heading northeastern Syria to Salamiyah city. Salamiyah has never been beyond the shooting range of the extreme jihadist groups such as ISIS and Nusra Front, who have tried over the last year to invade and control it for its strategic location in the middle of Syria. However, it's still persisting so far. What you've seen behind me witnessed an unprecedented event that entered the history from its Black Gate in the January 2013. A suicide bomb hit the center of city, leaving tens of victims, an event that has no similarity in the memory. Days went on to become surrounded by the Black Takfiri groups from all directions. The real threat has got unprecedented, making the first month of 2015 disasters on the City of Peace. More than 200 victims dead in several massacres, the last of which was the massacre of Al-Sheikh Hilal and Al-Mab'ouja.
حسبي الله ونعم الوكيل. حسبي الله ونعم الوكيل.
The story of the village told by the tongues of its sons.
ذبح، حرق.
Slaughtering, burning, some people were shot dead. They used all kinds of torture and murder against the sons of the village.
The land of Al-Maghout, a famous poet who died, is today besieged across its 300-kilometer border. The direct front line pushed the inhabitants in a permanent readiness, alert and sacrifices. Hear the call of duty heard by the youth of Salamiyah. They are ready to give their souls under one title, a self-defense for the homeland.
We are a group in Salamiyah called the Auto Defense or the Public Defense. We formed this group without any salaries. It's a voluntary work for the country, for our homeland, without any revenue. The center takes care of our food, nothing else. There is no any funding in terms of salaries. No, nothing other than the food. We haven't even asked for. We only want to defend our land and honor, nothing else.
The countryside of Salamiyah has become under disaster due to the disaster of many of its villages. Here is the village Daliddara, one of the closest villages to the city. It has lost more than 115 victims and has become directly in touch with the terrorist who was once lived within it. I am in the city of culture and precisely at the home of the great Hazem Mohammad al-Maghout. The city has been paying a very expensive tax that it has never deserved. Yes, Salamiyah hasn't lived happy occasion for a long time ago. It has been living permanent sacrifices, power cuts and water crisis. It complains the media ignorance, all that have become features of the city.
We are very disappointed from the media in several cases.
Even in services, Salamiyah is oppressed. Nobody is covering it. Salamiyah has given a lot, therefore it deserves a lot, because it's a part of the land, of this homeland. Salamiyah is neglected in the media a lot. This is the least to be said to describe the situation. Nobody talked about its recent martyrs.
In contrast with the lack of essential services, the humanitarian organizations are always active. The people of Salamiyah, who had hosted many refugees from other Syrian citizens, is certainly hosting its sons in this crisis and representing the brightest image of co-living and tolerance. The danger has become serious. It's a risk of survival and a risk of existence.
نحن من بداية الحدث اللي صار.
Once this occurred, the volunteering team in the Red Crescent in Salamiyah urged to the National Hospital to receive the casualties, to transport them to the operation chambers and the ambulance rooms. They assisted the National Hospital and the nurses to transport them to the curing locations. Once the displaced people arrived, we communicated with them in the funeral houses and told them that we have dedicated shelters for them. And we told those hosting them that if they are not capable of hosting their families, there are shelters available, opened by the Red Crescent's branch in Salamiyah to receive them.
The call of duty is also heard by the intellectuals and figures from Salamiyah. They have considered the project of the popular defense indispensable because Salamiyah is being slaughtered.
The idea has emerged from the suffer of people. Although it's initiated by a certain person, but it's not an invention. It's not a poetry. It came out of the pain of people, of the scenes of funerals and the martyrs whose bodies were borne from the hospital or from their homes, as well as other scenes. It emerged from the suffer of people.
Unfortunately, there's in Salamiyah a pessimist will and a pessimist mind, especially after the massacres that occurred recently. Currently, all people are willing to defend themselves. Hence, the project of the auto defense has been launched, of course within regulation and precise law formula and in coordination with the official side, specifically the Syrian army. As it is an institution, we fully care about its persistence and to strengthen it. That is, this project in coordination with the national parties in Salamiyah is going to become a reality or an approach of this reality. In case it succeeds, we would like to generalize it in all the Syrian areas and precisely those threatened by militants. Our army is proving the greatest struggle in the world. I recognize that Syria is going to remain Syria.
The victims of Salamiyah are not mere numbers, its people say, and the city of intellect is not an ordinary cross point. It will remain, as it was ever, an example in its people and culture.
جيشنا عم بيقدم أكبر جهاد في الكون جيشنا وأنا بعترف بهالوطن سوريا بدها تضل سوريا سوريا بدها تضل سوريا